What about you specifically made him think that you could sell ice to the Eskimos? I mean, what stood out about you?
I guess I must have shared stories about growing up with him. One of those stories intrigues me to this day is that comic books, right?
Yeah.
So when we were growing up, uh, it was really a lot of fun for young kids growing up in a poor country like Jordan to be exposed to the rest of the virtual world through comic books, kind of like kids going on social media nowadays. We don't have no social media. So when I got my copy of Superman or Batman or any of those things, I would go through it, and to me, it's like being in a different universe. It was a mental break from the difficulties that we lived in a poor country ravaged by civil war and things like that. Here's what's interesting. To buy a brand new copy of Superman, it was 5 piasters, okay? In Arabic, we say khams kurush, 5 piasters, right? So where am I going to get the money from? So I managed to get enough to buy my first issue, right? So once I had it in my hand, I leveraged it. I rented it to my friends who couldn't afford to buy it. And I recovered my capital and went on to buy the next one. So I had a thriving business, buying brand new copies of comic books and renting it to my friends, and also maintaining the inventory. This is probably at age 8 or 9. As I grew up and reached like into my teen years and became physically strong, I went to work in construction during the summer. So as soon as school was over, I would go to the construction sites and work. And I remember one time I passed by a construction site and there was a pile of sand that needed to be carried over to the higher floors of the building. It was being plastered and so on. So I negotiated with the guy. I must have been 12 or 13. I negotiated with the guy to take that entire mountain of sand into all the rooms in a 4 or 5-story building. And he said, how are you going to do that? I said, that's my business. How much would you pay for that? We negotiated a price. I went and I hired half a dozen of my friends, supervised them while they're doing it, paid them off. They were so happy to make money. And I took the rest of the money, put it in my pocket. I became a businessman. I wasn't even 15 at that time. So these kinds of things that I did naturally, it was just intuitive at a very, very young age. Later on, I shared those stories with the counselor, and he's like, man, you need to be in business.